Yesterday, Ubisoft dropped a apology statement on social media trying to win back players in Japan, which I don't think is going to work. I've already seen Japanese people tearing that apology to pieces because the way that Ubisoft has handled this game is probably going to be a very good case study for how not to handle stuff like this. Japan is not happy with this game. My Japanese viewership has went up since I started calling this game out. They're happy that people are talking about this. Because, let's be real. When it comes to these game journalists and other members of Western gaming, they really do try to go after Japan pretty hard and try to smear their country and call them backwards thinkers, and it's really messed up. And this is coming from people that talk about respecting other people's cultures, cultural appropriation, stuff like that, when they're the ones trying to get Japan to bow to their ways of thinking. It's hypocritical, and they don't even realize it. But anyway, Japan isn't happy about this game, and if you've been following it, you know why. They've mixed up Chinese things with Japanese things, and they've tried to pretty much edit history completely to help push this game. It's been wild to watch. So they made this apology, and of course, Western game journalists, they're not happy. Inverse put out this article, Assassin's Creed developers didn't have to explain their game. Now, imagine if this had been another culture. Like I've said before, they would be going insane right now. But because it's Japan, it's okay to disrespect them and get their history wrong. These game journalists don't like Japan because they have these woke progressive values that country does not meet the standards of, and they go insane. Because, let's face it, they've got the Western industry under their thumb. Some of the only places we really get old school kind of gaming and looks is from Japan. Unless it's Capcom. Capcom is cucked at this point in time. I just saw a statement talking about they're looking for foreigners to come in and help them with management. So, like, what? That's a whole nother thing that I'll probably get into tomorrow. But Inverse put this out. I think there was a couple of others, but the biggest one came from Kotaku. It was, of course, written by Alyssa Mercanti. She wasn't happy about that apology and went on to basically call everybody in Japan racist, which isn't a shocker to me. I know game journalists and how nasty they can be. Especially Alyssa Mercanti, who's always looking for some attention. So she hasn't had any while, so she decided to come out and attack the apology that Ubisoft put it out there. I like to call it a non-apology because it really is a non-apology. It's like a PR thing to try to get people to buy this game because they know nobody in Japan is going to buy it. The game is going to be a huge failure in Japan, and it's going to be funny to watch. But she wrote a whole article. I'm not going to pull it up because I don't want to give it clicks. But she attacks Ubisoft and calls the Japanese outrage fake, which it definitely is not. It does not even take that much research to see that the Japanese people are pissed about this game. But she put this tweet out here, and this doesn't surprise anybody that's following Kotaku and knows the kind of people that work at Kotaku. But this is the response. Maybe just say your racist response to a video game is indicative of moral decay. Get bent instead of this. So as far as responses to the actual post made by Ubisoft Japan, Japan is trashing Ubisoft in the replies, 9 million views and counting, as some say in Japan. If Ubisoft really wanted to make AC Shadows fiction, Why didn't they just use a fictional character and make him Japanese? So here are some of those responses. When I read the English version's replies while translating them, I find that many of the opinions make sense. Just change the character to a Japanese one. Just change the name and make it a fictional character. Here's another one. I think the story about Yusuke should just be a condensed fiction based on him. The issue of historical retelling is no longer a UBI issue, but a Lockley issue. However, Yusuke is no longer the problem. The plagiarism of materials from manga, organizations, and cultural heritage sites, the misinterpretation of Japanese history, and Japanese as Chinese, among other things, show disregard for Japan. The problem is these. And I see that a lot. There are some people that are okay with the main character. Their problems are the way that they're treating the history of Japan and the culture of Japan and mixing it up with other countries. They find it to be very disrespectful. This is so sloppy. It's been a long time since I've been so disappointed with something. It's so disrespectful and unpleasant. How will you be held responsible for violations of copyright or portrait rights? I think as a company, we need to respond appropriately. Why not try to rebuild it from scratch, including historical research? I don't think it's at all finished to a level that would be released as a product. And that's an interesting point. And, I wonder how well this game is going to sell. So a couple of days ago, Ubisoft had a meeting with investors, like an investors call, and they were getting some questions about low sales and pre-order numbers for not just Shadows, but also Outlaws. These are two big games that they have coming out. Two big games, and both of them have been hit with controversy. Both of them are not going to launch without people really taking a close look at it, because both of them have been under so much heat. And investors are worried, like, how are the sales looking? What are you thinking? Are pre-order numbers good? And they never give these. They just kind of give the same generic answer over and over again about they think that these will both be strong sellers. Specifically Star Wars, which comes out August 30th. They quote Christmas, by the way, saying, they expect the game to sell good around Christmas because Star Wars branding usually sells good around Christmas. And, Christmas is a long way from August. I know it doesn't seem like it, and it'll be at the end of the August month, so it'll roll into September. But I would like to remind the people that they talked to, which was the CEO and the CFO, your game is going to be half price by then. In November, it will go from 70 to either 30-something or 40. Because usually, there's a big release window from August to December. And this is like the biggest window for sales for pretty much everybody, because Christmas is a big gift-giving time. You know all this. But usually, games that come out around that time lower the price to compete with the games that are coming out in November and late October. This game will no longer be, fresh on everybody's minds. They're going to have to discount the game by then, unless for some reason it's some big magical seller. And I really don't think this game is I don't think it's going to bomb completely. I think both this game and Assassin's Creed will do okay. The question that I have is how well will they do? Because there's big expectations in sales for a Star Wars game and Assassin's Creed. Keep in mind, the marketing for Star Wars right now, for Star Wars Outlaws, is crazy. I'm seeing advertisements everywhere. They even say in this call that they have a huge marketing campaign behind it. Well, it's not free, so that costs a lot of money. I'm sure the game cost a lot of money. The game also looks half-baked. Just taking away everything from Mam Solo, the game doesn't look that impressive graphically. and it looks like it's got frame rate problems and glitches galore. So we'll see how well this goes over. But, courting Christmas as your big selling moment for this game, it's going to be sold at a sales price around that time. Black Friday time, up until Christmas, you'll be able to get this game for around $40. Guarantee it, because it happens every year. Assassin's Creed Shadows will probably be full price, because that game, when does that one come out? November 12th is what a quick Google search says. So that game will be full price when it comes out. But I don't know what else is coming out around that time. You got Call of Duty coming out October 25th. I mean, that's going to be a juggernaut, and it will still be selling, by the way, around that time. You're also competing with yourself with Star Wars Outlaws, which will be discounted when this game comes out. It's going to be interesting to watch when these games come out. But I'm going to tell you right now, don't expect them to be like a catastrophic flop, even if they do have low sales. There's enough people that just buy these things regardless, that will still buy it just because it's Assassin's Creed and just because the other one is Star Wars. And that's just the way it is. The real question is, does it make money? Does it exceed sales expectations? Which is what these people are asking, and they didn't give a very good answer for that. And that's probably why their stock dropped the other day, and I showed you that in yesterday's video. It dropped by like 19% or something, a few dollars. And this is probably why that happened, because these answers that they gave these investors weren't very good. In fact, they were very PR, and you could tell that there was some concern when you read into what they were saying. So, we'll see what happens. But anyway, just another disastrous day for Ubisoft. I think they're going to have a hard year. They are not going to be blowing anybody away with their financial report whenever that comes out after Christmas. Anyway, let me know what you guys think about all of this in the comments. Also, if you would, please like, subscribe, share the video, hit that notification bell, and we'll see you on the next one. Peace.